4034 Trumbull Avenue, 824 Stockdale Avenue, 1538 Garland Street. As of 8 o'clock on a recent Monday morning, all three houses stood empty, but they stood. And then they didn't. This is Flint, Michigan, where in an act of residential triage, the county's been knocking down houses at an astounding rate. Sometimes as many as 4 in a day, and not replacing them. And the guy with the hose keeping the dust down, he's Kevin Muma, foreman of the wrecking team the county uses, and we got to Kevin just before they went at 1711 Donald Street, their third job that morning.
We're kind of standing here in the quiet before the storm.
Where he told me two pretty amazing things. First, how fast they can take a house down.
We'll collapse this down onto the ground in about 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
Really, 15 minutes?
15 minutes.
And second, how much of this kind of work there is in Flint.
Every neighborhood in Flint has its share of vacant homes right now.
Well, let's test those statements. We're going to start the clock on the job at number 1711 Donald. And as for Flint's share of vacant homes, well, just look at this. 10,000. That's how many houses stand empty in Flint overall. 10,000 and counting. Many that go back more than 80 years. Homes once, carcasses now for a middle class, crushed when the company whose paychecks built Flint, General Motors, began cutting jobs. Tens of thousands eventually. The jobs went, and then people started leaving too. But knocking down houses like this, is that giving up? And giving up, do we do that in America? Well, the whole thing got Rush Limbaugh into a lather when he heard about it.
So they want to bulldoze it and turn that land over to nature and downsize the city. I mean, that's just something I'm not ever thought I would see in America.
That was quite a blast, and quite a contrast to the softer tones taken by the Flint native who is behind much of this house demolition.
Everybody that lived here had kids.
His name is Dan Kildee. And when Kildee and I strolled this block of Jane Avenue, there were maybe 25 houses here, not many of which were homes anymore.
So out of maybe 20, 25 houses, we've got one car parked, one occupied house.
It is sad, but Kildee, who grew up to be a politician, he is now county treasurer, he has rocked his hometown with a radical idea to make this all go away. Literally.
What we need to do is demolish about 6,000 abandoned houses.
Knock down 6,000 houses.
Right.
He is serious, and it has started. This pile of maps and street plans in his office. Every red rectangle represents
abandoned homes and abandoned lots.
I mean, it looks like a rash across
It's pretty
the
bad.
city.
It's,
There's
you know
so
what?
much of it.
We've lost 84,000 people. They didn't take their houses.
That's about half the population, almost half the population.
Is to
And his
reduce the
cure?
supply, get rid of these houses, get them out of competition.
You mean literally get the houses gone,
Take them out.
like they didn't exist, take them
Right,
out.
right.
Dan Kildee, in short, wants to shrink Flint, Michigan, the hometown that he loves and serves, and which he was at pains to point out does have a future. Flint is fine in parts.
Just sort of coming into this nice little neighborhood here.
No, these are pretty houses.
Yeah.
But even here, he says, home values are being undermined by what is just minutes away. Do not resuscitate properties like 1711 Donald, which is now almost half gone, and so far it's been less than 10 minutes into its deconstructive surgery. But when the empty houses are gone, then what? What goes here? And that's where Kildee's plan gets really wild. And we do mean wild.
Take away this block from ever being inhabited again.
Right, right. Something green.
Everything we see before us, you see this someday being, and soonish, a field or a forest.
Mm-hmm. It can be maybe a productive part of this larger area as open land or a big, forest of trees.
And just then, with perfect timing, a local named James strolled up, loving what he heard.
If the bulldozer shows up one day and knocks every other house down on this block,
I'd help them.
you'd help him.
Well, of course, and the truth of the matter is his house would improve in value immediately.
Yeah, right.
If all these houses got torn down, his house would go up in value.
Meanwhile, Rush Limbaugh, day 2 of his harangue, only now he was saying,
if you're going to bulldoze 40% of Flint, and bulldozing 40% of Flint will not cause people to return and have it grow, why not bulldoze it all?
this is not the sort of idea that Flint's brand new mayor, Dane Walling, wants in circulation. He is calling for a whole new rethink on how to match the city's housing to its needs, one he hopes will emphasize building new homes.
But shrinking is a temporary phase. I don't want it to become a state of mind for this community.
And that is Kilday's challenge. It is perception. He does not want to push people out of their homes. He would like to pay some to relocate, but there's no money for that right now. But that bigger perception thing he faces, this is America. We grow. We don't shrink.
Does the word shrink apply?
It does. And it's an intentionally provocative term.
What about surrender?
But well, it's not surrender. It really isn't surrender.
But it is a kind of vanishing act, by which we mean 1711 Donald, 20 minutes. That's about all it took to take it down. Same with all of the houses they went after that Monday morning. And by Monday afternoon, the cleanup complete, it was as though those homes had never existed at all. I'm John Donvan for Nightline in Flint, Michigan.